Good morning, class. Desmond, good morning.
Good morning, Medugu Silas. Amanyi.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, Silas.
Yeah, morning.
Mr. Desmond, good morning.
Abu says good morning. Well done.
Go Sukuma, then you go come sit down, you know, go the Greek person. Good morning.
How is
Good morning. Good
Hey,
morning.
Chairman John, good morning.
Morning, sis. Morning.
Good morning, distinguished classmates.
Yeah, Ode.
Yes, sir.
Rosemary
Bishop.
Edu, good morning.
Good morning to all of us.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good
morning, sir.
Good morning. I can see
Good morning, Doc.
I can see my
Good
people
morning,
are
sir.
here. Yes, good morning, Zoma, you are welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Thanks so much. I am sorry I came in this late. Sincere apologies. I was trying to be that nice parent. I thought I could rush for my children's open day, check what they are doing in school, and then come back. But I went to the school and I was delayed a bit. I had to just find a way to rush and come back. I'm so sorry about that, and please pardon me for that.
You are pardoned already, sir.
Yeah,
There's
thank
no
you
problem.
so. All right, thank you so much. We had discussions yesterday, and I'm sure that we had something to go and check. How many of us remember, and how many of us tried to check if we have any legislation in Nigeria that has to do with social impact assessment? Sincerely, who checked? Let me see. You can just raise your hand if you checked, if we have any legislation on social impact assessments. I am not seeing any hands, so nobody checked.
No, actually, I have not checked, sir.
We were
Okay,
unable to
okay.
join.
So I checked, sir.
I have
Unable
not
to join.
checked.
Okay,
Checked immediately after.
Network didn't allow us to join class yesterday.
Okay, network did not allow you to join. Okay, so I can see Fayam, your hand is up. Let me see if you checked and what you found out. Fayam.
Okay, good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Okay, so I checked, not because I truly checked. I already have an idea of that somewhere. So sincerely, I didn't check, but I know that the social impact assessment, the framework, the legal framework is covered by that of the environmental impact assessment.
Okay, that is part of the
That's what I know,
environmental
sir.
impact assessment. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then the environmental impact assessment has a framework for it.
Okay. Yes, ma. Mrs. Shomke.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Good morning, and good morning, colleagues. Yes, I checked almost immediately, and I found that there's the legal and regulatory foundation on which the social impact assessment framework rests. There's the EIA Act of 1992, which requires all major development projects to undergo an assessment to evaluate potential effects on the environment and host as communities. There's the Federal Ministry of Environment who regulates, who is the regulatory body. There's the National Environmental Policy, and within it, there are guidelines for reinforcing principles of social impact assessment. And then we also have the 2021 EIA regulation. And then there are also sector-specific regulations. Just like Fayam said, the emphasis has been more on the environmental impact assessment, and I think the social impact assessment is an onboarding, is in its onboarding process, let me put it that way. However, within the framework of the Federal Ministry of Environment, there are guidelines also for the social impact assessment process in the country. So I think I'll stop at that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, ma. It's interesting that at least some of us checked. Who else checked and found out or got any information? Okay.
Sir,
Yeah, Desmond, I can see your hand.
yes, sir, I checked and I noticed about the social impact assessment of Federal Ministry of Health. It is concerned with the social impact assessment through its role in promoting and protecting the health of Nigerians, which involves both direct and indirect, and the major the process of the social impact assessment on the polio that they kicked off. The project is about the polio and the rest of it, sir. That's what I check and I come across.
All right. That is fine. That is fine. I'm happy that we at least had time to look at that. The truth is, for every person that has found out one thing or the other, you will discover that it's like where we started yesterday. Most of the emphasis has been on environmental impact assessment. It's like whatever you see about social impact assessment is just let's put it by the side and let's just put it by the corner. But we cannot assume that the environment is superior than the human beings and than their social life. If you destroy the lives of people, who will stay in the environment? So if we are not conscious about the people, their social life, their well-being, and we pay more attention to only the environment, want to keep the environment safe, some of us are thinking it's not the best direction to go. Maybe that is why we are playing these drums and we're expecting that more people will listen to the music and dance to it. Let it be something that should be part of our plan for whatever we do. Let us have more consideration for the social lives of people. How whatever we do will impact their social lives should be of importance to us. I'm thinking if we are able to achieve that, we would have done something good both for ourselves and then for the generations that are coming after us, because we talked about sustainability yesterday. We learned some things yesterday, and we will just see if we can go through them in a rush. We told ourselves what SIA is. You know, we are looking at how to monitor, how to manage our planned policies, programs, and projects, such that their consequences, whether intended or unintended, are properly managed. We looked at how our projects can affect people, several aspects of their lives that can be affected by our projects, our programs. And then we also told ourselves that there are reasons why SIA should be conducted. You know, we can't be talking about social consequences if we don't know them. So the other reason is for promoting social equity. We want to have arrive at a point where we can make informed decision based on the data and based on the information we have gathered about the people. You know, we want to enhance community engagement so that every person in the community is carried along in the process. We want to minimize negative impacts of a project and maximize the positive impacts of a project. We just finished discussing this legal and policy framework now. You know, if we are in a place or in a country where it is mandatory to conduct SIA for any project, it will be one of the reasons for which it must be done. You know, we talked about reduction of social conflicts yesterday, and we talked about the sustainability of our projects, because it's not all about us. It's not all about now. We should also have consideration for future generations. Before I forget, I mentioned yesterday that we're actually two on this course, myself and Professor Naswem, and I hope we remember that. I am sure that he would still have time to engage with us based on the discussion we had. Certainly, you would have a continuous assessment for this course. I am sure that we'll come up with a grouping formula that works for us, so that you are grouped into um, clusters, and you are given tasks to carry out, and you are expected to report on that task. And I am sure it will form a good part of your continuous assessment for this course. So let's not assume it's only me. We are together, and I'm sure that he will come in and handle some of those aspects. So for today, we will see if we can learn two basic things with the time we have, and then call it a day. If we are to conduct an SIA, for now, if I say SIA, I assume we all know what I am talking about.
Sir.
So if, okay, fine. So if we are to conduct an SIA, what are the steps involved? What do we need to do to successfully conduct an SIA? That's the first thing we will look at this morning. Procedure number one is what we call scoping. When you do a scoping, you are trying to get a general information about a place. So before you even go ahead and say you want to engage with people, you want to know what your impact is and things like that. How much do you know about the area? Some other persons will see it like a reconnaissance survey. Just enter the area, look around. What can you notice about the geographical area? What is the population spread like? What are the potential social impacts you think a project can have on the people in the area? If you want to gather information from the people, what methodologies can you adopt? If you look around, who do you think are the major key holders in that area? If you are gathering all this information, they say you are carrying out what we call scoping. So scoping is just like arriving at a definition of the scope of the assessment. You cannot do everything at the same time. So when you are writing your research or something like that, they will tell you to state the scope of the study. So your scope is where your study starts, where your study ends, and what you intend to achieve with your study. If you do not do that, you may end up gathering too much in your hands that you will not be able to achieve. So it is necessary to do your scoping. Know where you are going to, know the geographical area where your social impact assessment will cover, have an idea of the people, which is the population of that are there, and just do your small background check. If I do this here, what impact can it have on people? All of these are done at the background before you go ahead and do any other thing. You must have that general knowledge of the area you are going to. And that general knowledge is what we refer to as the scoping. I hope that is clear enough. So you are able to sit down and tell yourself, okay, my SIA will cover this area to this area. These are the kind of people that stay here. These are the kind of effects my project may have on the people. These are the stakeholders that are in these areas. These are the people I need to consult. You just do all your background checks so that when you take off, you have a direction. You already have what you want to achieve, and you have something to guide you. Even your projects, very soon, I'm sure we'll begin to write our projects. You just need to do this. If you do not do a proper scoping, you may even think something is achievable. It is when you get into it that you will discover that there are some one or two challenges that you are likely to come across in the course of executing that project. So, like I think there was a time I was discussing with some of my project students. Okay, they brought a topic and this is what they want to work on. And then when I looked at the topic and we started discussing, have you considered this? Have you considered the kind of people you need to get information from? Have you considered where this research will be carried out? Have you considered the stress that will be involved in doing this and doing that? I am sure that it was at that point that some of them started seeing some of the issues I was bringing out and like, they didn't think about it this way or that way. But in scoping, you just gather all the information that you think you will need so that when you take off, you know you have a direction and you will not be derailed. So scoping is the first step. After scoping, you have stakeholder identification and engagement. Like we said yesterday, you must discuss with people. You must get their views. You must get their opinions. You must get their needs. You must get their concerns. You must get their expectations. You must engage every person, every group in that community so that some people do not feel marginalized beyond the marginalization that they are already facing. You give every person a voice. You aim at achieving equity, building a foundation where every person has something to say and every person can be heard. Every person that the project will be affected by should be engaged. And that engagement is a process of your SIA. So like we said yesterday, you engage stakeholders, you know what their challenges are, you know what their needs are, you know what their fears, their concerns are, and you make every effort to address those needs and those challenges and those fears that they will have. So apart from scoping, you have stakeholder identification and engagement. Please, if I say anything that is confusing to any person, you can just ask a question and I'll be happy to go back and explain again. So the first is scoping, the second is stakeholder identification and engagement. Then you have baseline data collection. If you do not have, yes, Emmanuel, I see your hand. You can ask
Yes,
your
sir.
question.
Thank you, sir. The steps involved in conducting the SIA. I want to know, maybe you said it, but I was not paying close attention. Are they in order? Like the first one has to be the first one, then the second one has to be the second one. Or
Yeah, it has to be in this order. If you do not
okay,
do your scoping, and you go and
yes,
begin to gather data, what if you discover that the data is not even part of what you need in your scope?
okay, sir.
You can't collect
Okay,
data without knowing your stakeholders, So it actually follows this sequence. It follows the sequence. The first thing is to
okay.
arrive at your scope, all right?
Yes, sir.
So after the scoping, you identify your stakeholders and then you do your baseline data collection. The truth is,
Okay,
if you do not know where you are, you will not even know if you have made progress or not. So your baseline data collection gives you an understanding of the current situation before you establish a project. It is when you
okay.
know what is on ground that you can tell yourself, okay, we have made progress in this area or in that area. If you are being accused of causing some kind of social damage, how
Mm,
do you prove to the persons involved that no, you did not cause any damage if you do not have your baseline information? So before you
okay.
even start your project, you need to gather this baseline data that we're talking about. The
Mm,
population demographics, their social conditions, their economic conditions. You must know the social structures, their cultural practices, and all the services, the public services that are available to the people in those areas. It is when you gather all of these that you can even tell if you are causing a damage or not. Ima, I still see your hand up. You still want to ask a question?
sir. It's also in line to the first question I asked. So, would there ever be a chance whereby one have to come before the other? Because, for instance, now the first one, the scoping talks about area of coverage, that is a geographical
Yeah,
location. It means
of
no,
course.
yes. So, in some instances whereby I'm actually carrying out a research and I don't have the complete equipment, maybe for example, technological tools that could help me to assess the geographical location of this place, and I have to be there myself. And then for me to be there myself, there could be some cultural barriers and everything affecting foreigners from actually intruding into their privacy or into their domain. So in this case, will it not be possible to actually take the stakeholder first, then the scoping second?
Okay, I think I understand where you are coming from. Entry into a society is not necessarily stakeholder engagement. If I want to gain entry into a community, I can introduce myself. I do not even need to meet all the stakeholders. They must have leaders. They
Mm,
must have chiefs or traditional clan heads. They must have people. So,
okay,
introducing yourself to a community is different from stakeholder engagement
okay, sir.
because you can just say, okay, I am so person. This is what I want to do in this community. who and who do I meet to grant me access to the community? Most times when we go out for research, you must introduce yourself and they must know who you are. And in fact, in some cases, they will even give you people as guide in the community to help you in the scoping because you don't even know much about the community. It is somebody that you are interacting with that can even provide you some basic information that will be helpful in your scoping. But that is different from stakeholder engagement because when you begin to see people and say, this is what I want to do, this is my project, how do you think this will affect you? You have gone beyond the stage of introducing yourself to the community. You are now trying to
Yes.
get their input into what you are doing. All right.
Okay, sir. Thank
So
you.
I think that is, thank you, are welcome. That is the sequence. So your baseline data collection, as we are talking about, is very, very important. You can use so many sources to collect your data, whether interviews, focus group discussions, which is FGD. You want to carry out a survey, even if there are secondary data, maybe there are publications about the place that you can go and get information. Those are secondary data sources. By any means, you gather all the information that you can about the people. After gathering information, you begin to look at the potential positive and negative impacts that the project could have on the communities, the individuals, and on the structures that they have established, their social structures. So identification and prediction of impact is a key aspect. You have gathered all your information, you have done your scoping, you have interacted with the stakeholders, you have gathered the baseline information that you need. The next thing is to begin to identify and predict the potential impact. And like we said, those impacts could be positive, they could also be negative. So all your classification of impacts is very important. You are able to tell which impact is positive, which impact is negative, which impact is short term, which impact is long term. Short term and long term with reference to when those impacts will occur. Is this something that will occur immediately? That's a short term impact. Is this something that after so many years of implementation of the project, you will begin to see those residual impacts and things like that? Those are long-term impacts. Is it direct on the people? Is it indirect? Maybe hitting the environment, and from the environment, the people are affected. All of these you need to study, you need to classify, you need to put your impacts in check. So it is a key step, identification and prediction of impact. You need to know how your project will affect people. You need to classify your impacts and have a good understanding of them. After classifying your impacts, you now do what we call impact evaluation. It is a fallout of identification that we just discussed. You evaluate those impacts. In some cases, you do what we call like a ranking, just like we talked about. Which one is more serious? Which one is immediate? Which one is long term? Which one is direct? Which one is indirect? Which one is positive? Which one is negative? Which one is cumulative? Like it continues to build up over time. Which one is more severe, you know, all of these is just like you are now evaluating this impact. Evaluation of the impact actually gives you a better understanding of them and which ones you handle first, which one you can handle later, and which one is positive, which one is negative, which one do you downplay, which one do you maximize, and all of these put together. That is the stage of impact evaluation. You know so much about these impacts that you are able to classify them and put them in groups. This grouping will actually help you in knowing which ones to handle, which ones to ignore, which ones to handle at the moment, which ones to handle later, and things like that. After you evaluate your impacts, the next thing you need to do is to come out with measures that can mitigate those negative impacts and measures that will maximize the positive impact. I think we discussed this in passing yesterday. So it is not all about identifying challenges. It's not all about identifying positive, negative impact. After identifying them, what do you do? What are the next steps? So it's good enough to identify those impacts, but it is better to provide a remedy to them. So you can tell yourself that if this happens, this is what you need to do, that is what you need to do to cut down the negative impacts of that activity or that project. Or where you have a positive impact, you begin to tell yourself what and what you need to do to maximize that positive impact. I think we can leave this stage for now. The next thing is to write your reports. You have done your scoping, you have identified your stakeholders, you have gathered your information, you have looked at your impacts, you have even classified your impacts, you have now you have evaluated your impacts, and then you have been able to develop mitigation measures for negative impacts and efforts at which you can put in to maximize the positive impacts. You have done all of that. The truth is that your findings and your recommendations must be documented. The people that you have called your stakeholders that have given you all the information you need and have told you their concerns and everything you need for your SIA, you must write a report and you must bring that report to your stakeholders. They
Doctor,
should, yes,
please,
Emmanuel.
sorry, sir, please, sorry for cutting you short. Will you please, can you take back that mitigation and enhancement measures? I want to get more
Yeah,
explanation about that, sir.
okay. Ajaka is drawing things on my PowerPoint presentation. I just hope it is a mistake. But Ajaka, don't draw on my PowerPoint again. If not, you will make another one for me. We said mitigation and enhancement measures are necessary, and it is a step in conducting SIA. It is one thing to know how my project will affect you. It is another thing to come up with a plan that will help me control or reduce the negative effects that my project will have on you. So we are telling ourselves that it is not conclusive, it is not okay to arrive at a point where you discuss with people, you carry out your research, and then you identify the positive, the possible negative consequences that a project should have or could have on people. What are you doing to reduce those negative consequences? It is at this point that you do all of that. Okay, this project can affect these people in this area, in that area. Now, I don't want to leave it at that point. I need to do something to control that negative impact. You begin to put it into a plan because this and this could affect people in this way. If this comes up, this is what I will do to reduce this negative impact. Because this project could have positive impact in this way, in that way. These are the things that I can do to maximize that positive impact. It should be in a plan. And like we were about to go into the next step, the people, the stakeholders should see that plan. I think that is what will make them feel better. Okay, these are the challenges we are likely to have. These are the measures that are put in place to ensure that if we run into these challenges, they can be sorted out or they can be minimized, they can be handled. So the mitigation and enhancement measures are part of the processes so that people can look at you, look at what you are doing, look at the negative impact that your project would have, and also look at what you have put in place to manage or to reduce those negative impacts. I don't know if that is good enough.
Sir. Taking, Doc. Well understood, sir.
All right. Okay, thank you so much. So you must come up with these measures such that it's not like you are meeting something negative. So what? So what do you want to do about it? What are you doing to make life better? You know, all these must be put in place just to ensure that everybody is carried along. Then the next, okay, then the next step is reporting and decision making. But just like I did yesterday, because somebody have written one or two things, drawn some marks on my slide, I will need to stop sharing and then start to share again so that those marks will go off. And I'm hoping they have gone off now. So we'll continue from where we stopped. Like we said, reporting and decision making is very important. Whatever you do, you put your findings and your recommendations in a document like a report and you present it to the stakeholders. Your report should contain what you have identified as your baseline information. We talked about conducting your baseline survey. So your report should contain that baseline survey. It should contain the view of the stakeholders. You have met with people, they have talked to you. Their views should be captured in your report. The impacts, the potential impacts, we call them potential impacts because they have not occurred. You have not even started your project, but you are only forecasting. You are only telling yourself what impact the project could have on people. So that is why we refer to it as potential. Sorry, my phone has been beeping. So we said the findings should be incorporated into the design of the project. It becomes a plan of your project. So your baseline survey, whatever information you have gathered from the stakeholders, potential impacts of your project, how you want to mitigate those potential impacts should also be stated. And then the plan that you have put in place to monitor the implementation of the project, everything that has to do with the SIA, should be contained in your report so that any of the stakeholders are able to pick that report, look at what you want to do, see that their views have been captured, see that you have already done your potential impact assessment, and you also have a backup plan, a mitigation strategy for controlling those impacts. All of these things should be captured in your reports, and it helps you in decision making. After putting your reports together, the next thing is to monitor and to follow up on what you have told yourself you want to do. Already you have a plan. Already you have a structure, things you intend to do. You already have monitoring procedures. Perhaps you already have timelines you have set for yourself. Between this time and this time, I will do this. Between this time and that time, this is what I will do. Okay, these are the people responsible for this. These are the people responsible for that. You have all of these things sorted out, and it helps you to monitor. It helps you to follow up on what should be done, what has been done, what has not been done, and things that you need to put in place to ensure that all you have in your plan aligns with the inputs that have come from your stakeholders. And then we conclude by saying that it's not like everything you have done and your report and your plan is cast in stone. Because sometimes in the course of implementation, you could still run into one or two challenges that will make you adjust one or two things where necessary. So as you are monitoring, you are watching out. If you discover there is a deviation and it is leading us in the wrong direction, nothing stops us from coming together again. So, okay, can we adjust this? Can we change this? Can we change that? Just so that we still arrive at where we are going to, but we try to minimize one or two things. So, if you do not monitor, you will not be able to tell where there will be a need to make some one or two adjustments. So it's necessary to monitor, it's necessary to follow up so that if anything is going out of place, you quickly bring it back. If you are doing anything that is outside your original plan, you have something to pull you back to where you should be. And then if there is a need for adjustment, you have something that will help you do that adjustment properly. When you are done with all of that, the next thing is to evaluate the effectiveness of the entire SIA process and to evaluate the entire implementation. You have done everything, just like some people will refer to it as a report that covers the lessons that you have learned from that SIA. This is usually done at the end of everything. It doesn't end at a point. Sometimes the lessons you have learned from one project may just be the starting point for another project. It may be what will guide you in subsequent projects. So at the end of the project, at the end of the entire work, you sit down, you do your evaluation, and you check for the feedback. reviewing the successes of the mitigation and enhancement measures, and then you gather feedback from the communities and the stakeholders. Are they really satisfied with what you have done? Did you meet their expectations and things like that? All of this information is put together. It forms part of your evaluation. And this is usually documented, just like you have documented your plan of what you want to do. You are done and everything has been concluded. Post project, you also document this evaluation so that every person can pick and look at and say, okay, this is what has happened in the course of this project. This is how we got here. And these are the achievements. These are the lapses, so that if there is a subsequent project of that nature, we know what to watch out for and things like that. If you ask me, it's a good place to leave these steps before we go into the advantages. Like I said, we'll just look at these steps today, and then we'll look at the advantages of conducting SIA for today. I am sure that by tomorrow when we come, we'll look at the disadvantages, and then we'll be able to compare SIA and EIA. Then we can be done so that we do our group task. But before we leave these steps involved, if there is anything I have said that will need clarification, please, I leave the room open for questions and for contributions. Thank you. Any questions, any contributions to what we have discussed so far, steps involved in conducting SIA? Yes, Emmanuel, you want to say something?
No, so actually, I was just from all the steps you actually listed, I was trying to actually put my head across to see the particular spot for execution of the identified after identifying the impact and having the prediction. Is it after that you make your execution of what you want to, the impact you want to give to the society? Or because the next thing you said after it was impact evaluation. So, and I didn't see execution of the main thing you wanted to implement. So is it that it's after the whole this thing before you do the execution of the project? Or because I don't know if you're
Okay.
getting my point.
No, I get your point. But okay, we started with the scoping. That is done
Yes,
before
sir.
you start your project. And then you identify your stakeholders. That is done before you
Yes.
start. And then you
Yes, sir.
collect your design data before you start.
Yes,
You
sir.
do your impact identification and prediction before you start. That's why it is still a prediction. You are predicting. You evaluate your impact before you start. There are still potential impacts. You do all your
Okay.
classification. You develop your mitigation and enhancement measures before you start. You don't start
Okay.
before you begin to think of how to solve a problem. All right. So before you even start,
Okay.
you have drawn up your mitigation and enhancement measures. Before you start, you
Okay.
have written your report. You have
Okay.
indicated on what you have seen
The findings on the CIA.
on the findings of the SIA. Everything
Yes, sir.
has already been put in place in your report. Now, it is
Yes.
after you write that report and it has been incorporated into the project design that
Okay.
you start your project. So
That's the execution.
this step 8 now goes
Yes, sir.
in line with your project implementation. When we say you should monitor, if you do not start your project, there's nothing to monitor. All right. So the
All right, sir.
moment you get into the stage of monitoring and following up, it means the project has started. it is what has started that you are monitoring and that you are following up. You are trying to see if your project implementation is in line with your SIA report. You are trying to see if you need to change some one or two things to accommodate the project as the project is ongoing. So at step 8, your project have started. You are
Okay, sir.
monitoring and you are following up to ensure that it's in line with what you have in mind. I saw a message from Lucy. Um, you can always ask any question from anywhere, anything we have discussed about. So Lucy, let me take your question. You will say you want to ask a question on the reasons for SIA. Can I take that question, ma'am? Lucy Ewodi.
Sir, please, you up to the improvement in decision making.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I stopped following you from until you got to compliance and legal policy framework.
Yeah, we said, okay, where did we stop? Enhancements, you understand improvement in decision making.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we talked about enhancements in community engagement because like what we have just discussed today, you are working with people in the community. You get their views, you get their opinions, you get their needs, you get their concerns, their suggestions as to how a project will go. Now, the moment you are discussing with people like that, getting their views and their opinions,
Yes, sir.
we agree that it fosters some kind of unity or collaboration between you and the community. And that understanding is very, very important. It helps the people to trust you. It helps you to trust the people. You are not coming to them as a stranger. They know this person is coming to help us. This person is coming to help us solve one or two challenges that we are likely to meet. That helps them to relax a bit. They become part of your project. So it is one of the reasons you conduct SIA. It's like you are carrying the community along. You are bringing them over to your side. You know, in fact, there are cases where at the end of the day, they begin to give you chieftaincy titles in their community. They take you to be one of them. If you do not conduct an SIA and you do not involve or engage the community, they will see you as a stranger. And maybe whatever you are bringing, they may not even accept at the end of the day. They will not work with you. You need their collaboration to work. And then finally, we said, as we proceed, we said one of the other reasons is to minimize negative impact. I think we talked about that today too. It is when you conduct an SIA that you will know the negative impact. And one of the reasons you want to know those negative impacts is to come up with a plan that will help you reduce or minimize those negative impacts. So it becomes one of the reasons for conducting SIA. Number one, to know negative impacts, and then to see what you can do to minimize the negative impacts. If you do not do an SIA, you will not even know negative impacts. If you do not know the negative impacts, how do you know how to mitigate them? So at the end of the day, you may just run into issues and you are solving problems as they come. And we say that is not good enough. It's good to have a plan that will help you mitigate those impacts as they come. So that is another reason for conducting SIA. Negative impacts are mitigated. I am sure that I will share these slides with us. And as we go through them, we can always refer to them. It will help. Sorry, I was thrown out of the meeting. This network can be challenging sometimes. So now I don't know where I have stopped or where you stopped hearing me. But we said another reason is to minimize negative impact. Anything that can be damaging to the social life of the people, you come up with a plan on how to reduce it. And as you are minimizing negative impact, you are maximizing positive impact. Those things that will be of benefit to the people, those things that will improve or enhance their well-being, you do all you can to maximize it. Let people get more benefits from what you are bringing to the table. And then we now went to compliance, where you said you got us from. If it's a law that I must conduct SIA, then just to keep to the requirements of that law, just to adhere to those regulations, it becomes a reason for me to conduct my SIA. Because if I start my project and if there is a law for me to first do it before I start, and somebody comes up and is not able to see that report, that SIA report that we're talking about, it could cause me problems. And then finally, we said reduction in social conflict and then long-term sustainability of our project. I see Felix's hand is up. Let me take
Thank you
your
very
other
much,
question.
sir.
You are highly welcome. So
Thank you,
Felix,
sir.
let me get you what you want to say.
Okay, good morning, Doc. Good morning, class.
Yes, good morning,
Mine,
Felix.
mine is a question.
Okay, a question.
Yes, sir. Is it possible that after stakeholders engagement, is it possible that we will be given a misrepresentation, maybe wrong information or wrong, maybe kind of self-centered outcome after stakeholders engagement? Maybe giving you maybe a kind of a feedback that is not coming from the people, or is maybe kind of self-centered you. Don't know that you understand my point.
I am trying to get you. You said if you conduct a stakeholder engagement and those people have a self-centered view, something like that.
Yes, yes. Maybe the information they gave you was more of the elite agenda, not coming from the generality of the people.
Yeah, but that is why your stakeholder engagement should be broad. And we talked about carrying everybody along. This stakeholder engagement is not all about sitting with some few people and getting their opinion. They may mislead you. They may tell you things that are not correct. And like I said, you have already done your scooping before. You already have an idea of who stakeholders are. So you don't just engage in with one category of stakeholders and then you tell yourself that you have gathered all the information you need. You interface with a cross section of these stakeholders, all of them. You must meet with them. You must discuss with them. You must get their findings. And you know, the beauty of it all is like, as we said, your findings and your recommendations and everything should be put in a document. It should be documented and it should be presented to these stakeholders. If anything has gone into that report that is not in agreement with what the stakeholders have agreed, they can tell you, no, this thing you have dropped in this your findings and in this your report, this is not our agreement. Oh, you have changed it. This is not what we agreed upon. So there is a room for checks and balances. So it's not like you go and meet with some few people, they tell you something, and then you take it, and then you implement it on a community. No. If you do broad-based consultation and you meet with all these stakeholders, you gather all their views, you are able to harness it, and you still present it to them. And they agree that, yes, this is what we have discussed, and this is the way to go. I think it is at that point that you can tell yourself that, yes, you are able to proceed. I don't know if you get me. So it's not a one-person show. It's not a few groups. It's a broad-based stakeholder engagement, such that at the end of the day, the views of every person is carried along. If not, you may just end up favoring a particular group of people and not even hearing from the other group. And I'm sure that those other groups will rise up against you. And like we said, it's one of the reasons your project may fail. You say, okay, it is those people that you know, no issue. Go and discuss with them. When you come to implementation, you will meet us. Those ones that you have neglected may be the ones to rise up against you in the course of your project implementation. And that is what we want to avoid. So I don't know if I addressed your question or your concern.
Perfectly, sir. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do we have any other question before we go into the final lap of what we want to do today? The advantages. The advantages for conducting SIA is not too far from your reasons for conducting SIA. Okay, so that will not take us time. In some few minutes, we are done with that, and then we know we have achieved something for today. So any other question, any other contribution? Okay, no response coming in. It means we can proceed with the advantages. So like I said earlier, our advantages are not so far from the reasons that we conduct SIA. We have told ourselves that it is true that SIA may be challenging. There may be some constraints here and there when it has to do with the conducting of SIAs. But there are also some few advantages. So we'll just pick on these advantages. We'll discuss them briefly, and then we can tidy up for the day. Number one, we said that your SIA helps you to make informed decisions. And I'm sure we have seen this before. So you are not guessing, oh, if I do this, could it lead to this? Okay, if this come up, maybe I will do this. Okay, maybe I will do that. You know, maybe this will happen. Maybe, okay. Everything about your project becomes a guesswork, and you are not able to make informed decisions. That can become a big challenge. But if you have all the facts you need and you have all the data in front of you, if you are deciding to do anything, you are coming from a superior point of view. It is not like a guesswork anymore. You have all your information. It helps you to take better decisions concerning your project. That is one of the advantages. Number two, your SIA helps you to identify negative impacts and also helps you to go ahead to think of how to mitigate those negative impacts. So the damage that your project could have caused to the social life of people is identified, and you are putting in efforts to mitigate or to reduce those negative impacts. That is an advantage of SIA. If you do not conduct an SIA, you will not even know the negative impact before you begin to think of what you can do to reduce that negative impact. Number three advantage, just as we talked about the negative impact, we'll also look at the positive impact. Because SIA can help you identify positive impacts of your project, it gives you the room or the opportunity to strengthen or to enhance or to maximize the positive impact that your project will have on the people. Let more people benefit from the project or from what you are implementing. You are able to do that because SIA has told you what the positive impacts are, and then you are able to come up with strategies to maximize those positive impacts. Another advantage of SIA is the fact that you are able to engage with stakeholders. And the moment you engage with stakeholders, like we said earlier, it builds this kind of harmonious working environment between the persons implementing the project and the community. It helps you to take note of the needs of people who are marginalized, people who are vulnerable in that group. It helps you to build transparency. It helps the people to trust you. That kind of peaceful working environment is necessary because you have done your stakeholder engagement, and stakeholder engagement is part of your SIA. So that becomes advantage number 4. It helps to engage people and also helps to promote social inclusion. Social inclusion has to do with people who are marginalized and people who are vulnerable in the society. It helps them to be carried along, to be included in your plans and in what you want to do. Number 5 advantage, similar to point number 4, is that it helps to reduce social conflict. Because you have built transparency and trust among people, because you have carried people along, the tendency or the chances that you'll be having social conflicts, you'll be having disagreements in the course of project implementation will be reduced. I am saying will be reduced because you may still have issues here and there, but it will not be as massive or as widespread as if you do not engage these stakeholders. So your engagement of stakeholders, which is a part of your SIA, prevents these social conflicts that could arise when you are implementing your project. Point number 6, we said SIA helps you to improve the design of your project. Perhaps what you have in mind is not completely what the community and the stakeholders and the vulnerable groups and all of these people would have in mind. But when you bring your plan and they bring their plan and you merge those plans together, you harmonize them, I am sure that you will come up with a better project design. You will come up with a better project plan. It may derail you a bit. It may slow you down because as a person, you just want to come, do this, do that, and you are done and you go your way. And they are telling you, no, 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 no. You need to include this, you need to include that. At a point, it's as if it's slowing you down. Maybe when we look at the disadvantages, that may come up. You are not moving at your speed anymore. You are trying to carry them along. It may feel like it is stressing you, but the truth is that if you look at what you are doing, you end up having a better design for your project. And apart from having that good design for your project, the sustainability of that project is more guaranteed because you have added the views of this community into what you are doing. It helps you to achieve long-term goals of the project, and it helps the project to be sustainable at the end of the day. So that is point number 6. It helps you to improve your design and helps you to achieve sustainability. Yeah, let me pause and take the question from Jennifer. She just raised her hand. Jennifer, your question?
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning. Don't ask that
Good
kind of
morning,
difficult
colleagues.
question. Ask that kind of difficult question like yesterday. But it is welcome. Please go ahead with your question.
Okay, sir. So in a situation where you are carrying out your monitoring and evaluation, and then you discover that maybe there are certain individuals in the community, maybe due to power, they have deprived other people from benefiting from the project that is being cited in their community. What do you do? Because maybe you are looking at the sustainability, you are looking at long term, and then you discover that because of their selfish interest, the goal of the project, it seems it might not be achieved. There's no transparency, and then all of that, and then you discover that it will make others who are the marginalized to lose interest. Or yes, the point is that the goal of the project is not achieved. What do you do during the course of your monitoring and evaluation? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, number one advice I will give is before you even implement, like we said, the monitoring and evaluation comes when you have implemented, you have started the project. But these are things that should be sorted out before you implement. It is more difficult to change things when you have implemented. So, for an advice, before you implement, you make sure that all of these concerns are taken care of. You make sure that every stakeholder is consulted. You make sure that their views are all captured. You present that report to them. They all accept the report that, yes, this is what we want, and we are in agreement before you implement. Be that as it may also um, reflect the question you have asked. What if you have done all of these, and at the end of the day, you discover that some things were not properly done? The views, the opinions of some persons was not captured. But I think that is why we said in the course of monitoring and evaluation, the best you can do is to make adjustments. Okay, this is what I planned to do. Because I have noticed some changes in this and in that, perhaps I should do it this other way. The truth is, when you are making adjustments, you are only making adjustments to your processes. You are not making adjustments to the goal of your project. You already have what you want to achieve. You adjust the processes that will lead you to achieving those goals. Some time ago, I wanted to travel to Lokoja. My goal was to travel to Lokoja. And for most people that are in Makodi, you know that the shortest route to Lokoja is just to pass through Naka, pass through Adoka, you bust out in Ankpa. Ankpa is already in Kogi State. You find your way to Lokoja. But for some reasons, obvious reasons, I have to travel all the way through Nasarawa to Abuja and then connect from Abuja to Lokoja. It was a longer journey, but because I know what I want to achieve, I want to get to Lokoja and I want to avoid issues on the road before somebody will hear one day that so person was traveling this road and was kidnapped and things like that. Your processes may change. How you get there may change. You may make some adjustments, but the ultimate goal is to get to where you want to go to. So, in fact, that is like the advantage we are talking about. Improved project design. You have designed this. This is what you want to do. But because you have discovered this challenge, that challenge, in the course of your monitoring, you make adjustments to the design. And you are making those adjustments because you want your project to be socially responsible. You want to meet the social needs of the people. So I don't know if that answers your question, Jennifer. You may need to make some adjustments here and there. Those adjustments may not throw you off track, but it just helps you to be socially responsible at the end of the day. I don't know if I'm able to address your question before I take Emmanuel Tete. He also raised his hand.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, you are welcome. Emmanuel, let me take your question.
Okay, Doc, sir. Doc,
Yep.
sorry for taking you back. Please,
No,
in order
no
not
issue.
to leave any stone unturned in this lecture, can you be
Mm-hmm.
a bit audible, sir? I'm sorry.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't know I wasn't so audible. I will try to speak up. Sorry about that.
It's okay,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So I will proceed. Sometimes it may just be network, the network may just fluctuate and the voice goes down a bit and things like that. Maybe you'll pardon me for that too. So number 6, we said strengthening of project design. I think we just discussed that because you get inputs, you're able to adjust from one or two things, you make your project responsible. And then point 7 is close to point 6. You know your social responsibility. In most times, most cases, you hear things like corporate social responsibility. If you do not carry out a good SIA, you may not even know what your responsibilities are to the society. So, your conduct of SIA, because you know the challenges the community will have, you know where to step in to make their lives better. That, in a way, strengthens your ability to meet your corporate social responsibility. And the truth is that as you are meeting those responsibilities, your reputation, the eyes with which those people in the community see you, becomes improved. They can just pick on a project and say, this project is nice. This project helped us to do this, helped us to do that. It is not like this other one that we did not benefit anything from, and things like that. They are able to make those comparisons and have a better reputation for your project because you are able to meet some of these social responsibilities which they will consider as advantageous to them. So your SIA helps you to identify those needs, helps you to meet them. As you are meeting those needs, you are improving on your social responsibility and you are improving on your reputation in the eyes of the people. If you carry out one project very well and you have that good reputation, the next time you have another project to carry out and they know that it is this same person, it is even easier for you. Is it not? You have already laid a foundation and that reputation, fosters good relationship between you and the community. And who knows, there is always tomorrow. Paths may also cross tomorrow. And those things that you have done, which is part of your social responsibility, may speak for you in the future. And then final advantage, which is number 8, will be risk reduction. There are risks involved in almost everything that we do. Almost everything is risky. And why is it that almost everything is risky? The basic fact is that we do not know what the future holds. Nobody knows what tomorrow holds. But I still admire people that wake up in the morning and have a plan for their day. They have a plan for tomorrow. They have a plan for next week. They have a plan for next year. You see your activities ahead of you. And if you are able to see your activities ahead of you, it helps you to identify challenges that you are likely to meet tomorrow. And if you are able to identify the challenges you are likely to meet tomorrow, it then means that you are able to draw up a plan to reduce that risk. Like the example I gave, it was risky traveling all the way through Naka, through Adoka, through Ankpa to Lokoja. I decided to just follow Abuja. It's an expressway. Although the road to Lokoja from Abuja may not be so good, but I am able to reduce that risk because I am able to do my own little assessment. Based on that assessment, I am able to identify the risks that are involved in what I want to do. Because I have identified those risks, I am able to manage them. I'm able to reduce them. I'm able to avoid them. It will be different if I do not even know those risks, if I do not know those challenges, and I just run into them. And I begin to grapple with them. I begin to struggle with them in the middle of my project. That can really be stressful. And that could even be a reason for which some of these projects will be abandoned, like we were discussing yesterday. You have not identified those risks. You have not come up with a plan to solve them. When they hit you, you are confused. You don't even know what to do. You are thinking, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I start from here? Okay, where should I even start from? You may just be frustrated at the end of the day and you may abandon the whole project. But because you have conducted an SIA, some of these challenges do not come to you again as a surprise. As they are coming, you are telling yourself that, okay, this is what I was thinking of. This is the challenge that flashed through my mind. This is what I've documented. And I have told myself that if this happens, this is what I need to do. So you reduce so much risks. You reduce costs because while you are doing all your planning, you are looking at the best and the cheapest way to arrive at where you are going to. So the money, the resources, the effort you would have spent in pursuing things up and down, you spend it thinking, coming up with a good plan, choosing the option that is best for you, economic wise, and that will drive you to success. So, SIA helps you to reduce the risks that you may encounter, the challenges that you may encounter as you go ahead with the implementation of your project. For me, I think this will be a good place to draw it for this class. By tomorrow, Thursday, we'll round up the other aspects and then we'll do our grouping and then we'll see how Prof will come in and guide us because he's our father. He knows more than me and all of us that are here. I am sure he may have one or two things to say concerning what we have done, and we'll also go ahead with the grouping and the assessment for this class. But before I go, let me finally leave the door open again, take questions, take contributions, and then we tell ourselves bye-bye, and hopefully we'll see tomorrow. Thank you. Please, if you have any question or you have any contribution, you can either put up your hand or you can just unmute and speak. Thank you.
Doctor, thank you very much, sir.
You are welcome, Uzoma. Okay, Uzoma, I thought you have a question or a contribution.
No, sir, just to appreciate you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. I think I can stop sharing my screen so that I can see every person I have here. Please, any questions or any contributions? Like somebody will say, if there are no questions, it can be assumed that we understood everything, or we do not even understand anything. So there is no way you can ask a question on something you don't understand. So I don't know which direction to tilt. Okay, we understand everything, Simeon. Okay, Simeon said everything is understood.
At least to some extent.
To some extent. Okay, can we?
Your teaching is more understandable because your flow is going slow and it's going the way that anyone can comprehend. So I appreciate on that.
All right. Thank you. Thank you
Another
so much.
contribution, sir.
Thank you so much,
Uh-huh.
sir.
Thank you. I really appreciate. I appreciate the comments too on. Yeah, thank you so much. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you for your time. It's not easy keeping us here for this time. I appreciate your patience and all that we have shared together. So if you permit me, I'm also worried too, to a point. Some people did not speak during this class, and some people didn't speak in the last class too. I am tempted to call some names, but let me not call some names because there are some names that if I call now, they will report to me that I called their names and I will be in trouble. So they know themselves. They did not speak at all. I am beginning to wonder if they actually are with us in this class or if they just joined and disappeared.
I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them, sir.
I did not call any name. I didn't even mention Ladieche or Precious Ifan. I did not mention anybody at all. No. Did I mention names? No. No. Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, I didn't mention name. Let me withdraw these names that I mentioned. I didn't mention names at all. Okay, I didn't mention. Okay, I didn't mention anybody. All right. But sincerely, I appreciate all of us. I thank us for the time we have spent. Let's meet tomorrow and we'll tidy up tomorrow. Thank you. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day. All right.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I am grateful. So have a nice day. I wish I can respond to all the messages on the chat. There are plenty, but I appreciate all of you and I am grateful too. So God bless you all.
Thank you so much. We're all grateful, sir.
Oh, my pleasure. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir.
That was a wonderful class. Many thanks to you, Doc. God bless you.
All right.
Hello,
Thank
class.
you too.
Yes.
Okay. I thought Doc is gone, so that. Oh,
And let me go now so that you can make your announcement. Sorry. I was trying to respond to the messages in the chat so that somebody will not feel bad that I did not acknowledge his message. So let me go now. The
No, it's
class
fine,
can
sir.
continue. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, class.
Good morning, Fire.
Please,
morning, Fire.
We have now till Friday to complete our assignment. However, I've been getting some complaints from some people about that they don't know their groups. This is just to inform all of us that we are using the groupings that we did for last semester. However, the last two groups, yes, they are joining group 1 and group 2. Yes, group 6 and 7. They are joining group group 1 and group 2. So let's not be confused about it. And then all of us are encouraged to cooperate and do the assignment. We'll talk the rest of these things in our discussion group. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done, my brother.
The governor. Thank you.
The governor. Thank you.
God bless you, my leader.
Fine young boss for you there.
My leader.
You guys should log out and go and rest now.
We are waiting for you to log out.
Now my home did this, so now here I die.
I just informed the host. He will be logging us out now.
So there is no class again till tomorrow over this month.
Yes. Enjoy your office tea.
Hello, Fayam. Fayam. Mr. Fayam, good morning, sir.